Boo. Avoid any echoing or feedback. Awesome. Oh, it's still showing. Wow, let me swap that.
We'll just put over to your main one.
That's what I'm doing.
Shit. My bad.
Here we go. F11. F full screen.
Alrighty.
All right.
I got my chat on the left screen.
Class tuning incoming, January 24th. Bonus patch notes. Alrighty. There's not a lot here. Well, let's get into it. In addition to the class changes, they're part of 10.0.5 patch during the scheduled weekly maintenance on Tuesday, January 24th, otherwise known as tomorrow. We will make a number of tuning adjustments to specializations based on their performances in Raid and Mythic Plus content. Our intent is that these changes help make these specializations viable options in Raid and Dungeon content. Wouldn't that be the purpose of all tuning and balancing?
No and yes.
I
Yes,
love
no.
their super plain statements that may or may not be true. I mean, that's the goal. All right, let's look here. Druid balance. Fixed an issue where cosmic rapidity did not increase the frequency of shooting star to occur based on the increased rate of moonfire, sunfire, and stellar flare. Okay, that's a bug fix. Lunar eclipse now increases the damage of starfire does to nearby enemies by 30%, was 50%. That's a nerf. Referring back to the top where they say they want to make things viable, they're making them viable by nerfing them? This is an adjustment to the 10.05 PTR values for this ability. So
They didn't make them too overpowered.
Yeah, so this is a nerf to the buff that they were gonna receive. But I believe they're still getting a buff, right?
Pretty sure. I would have
Right?
to the other side. Yeah.
Yeah? Now I'm gonna have to pull up the other fucking patch notes.
Yeah, but don't worry about it until later.
Developer note: the redesign to Lunar Eclipse proved to be a bit overtuned during testing, so we're reining it in a bit. The current tunings should make Lunar Eclipse the ideal state for when you're dealing with multiple enemies at once. Additionally, we're fixing the unintentional bug caught during testing that causes Shooting Star not to benefit from cosmic rapidity. Okay, so the developer note explains both of these.
See?
Alright, then we've got Resto. Verdancy healing reduced by 10%. Adaptive Swarm now increases the effectiveness of periodic effects by 20%, was 25% for Resto Druids. Adaptive Swarm healing and damage reduced by 10%. Dream State can now reduces cooldowns by 20 seconds while channeling Tranquility, was 15. That's a buff. Developer note: we're making targeted adjustments primarily aimed at Resto Druid Mythic Plus performance. Our goal is to avoid much impact to their raid performance. I feel like this would be a good spot for the does not work in raid groups, like the Monk has, and I think the Paladin has too. Mage. Fire. All ability damage increased by 5%. Okay.
Frost 5% as well.
All ability, yeah. So I guess mages needed a 5% buff to 2 of their specs. Hope that solves all their problems. What do you think? Will that solve your problems?
Frost maybe. Fire probably needs maybe like 10 or 15%.
Yeah, you feel like they're that low?
Yeah, I mean, they're decently high, but the problem is their consistency without any crit bonuses or mastery would be too undertuned. Their consistency is low without combustion.
I gotcha. Yeah, I know they were really crit focused before. I don't know how they play now. Are they still crit focused?
Yeah, I think when I looked at the last stat priority, they're still on Mythic Plus and PvE focused. They're still crit bonus, still crit priority.
Righto. Moving on, we have the Monk. Only changes are for the Mistweaver. Lessons of Despair now increases critical strike. Well above 50% health was 80. Okay. That's not bad. I like that. This is an adjustment to the 10.0.5 PTR values for this ability. Paladin, Holy. Barrier of Faith now accumulates 50% of effective Flash of Light and Holy Light healing, was 40. Man, these are a lot of healer changes. Priest, Discipline. Ooh, let's see here. Shaman get one too? Shaman Resto. Yep. All the healers seem to be getting changed. A little bit. No, we're missing a few specs, but I think every class. Except Invoker. You can see them in here. Anyway, back to what we were doing. Priest, Discipline. Flash Heal. Healing increased by 25%. Discipline only. Renew. Healing increased by 25%. Discipline only. Power Word Radiance. Healing increased by 100%. That's a hell of a buff. Ultimate Radiance. Increase the healing done by Power Word Radiance by 10. Was 100. So it looks like they're swapping Ultimate Radiance with the baseline ability and making Ultimate Radiance 10%.
Yeah, they're because Ultimate Radiance for Disc Priest, because I know in PvP that when you just pop Ultimate Radiance with a PvP trait, that thing instantly just instant heal. And now they're going to make it that PvE has that ability now too, because without it, using Holy Radiance does not heal. You just use it to apply atonement, but now you can actually heal with it.
Yeah, okay, gotcha. I haven't started my Disc Priest yet this expansion.
Yeah, and now I started a Holy Battalion. Now I'm gonna have to start the Disc Priest coming up.
Yeah, Sense of the Mini. Increased damage dealt by 40% at its highest effectiveness was 30. Okay. Nice damage buff. Divine Aegis creates a protective shield for 3/6% of critical healing done was 510. Nerf. Developer note. Our changes to Discipline are aimed at improving the spec's ability to react to burst damage, especially in dungeons. At the same time, we're tuning down the talent's contribution more than intended to Discipline's overall healing. Between these tuning changes and talent changes in 10.05, we expect Discipline to be slightly more effective in raids and slightly more effective in dungeons. They're significantly more effective in dungeons. That's good. Yeah, you got to be able to deal with burst. I mean, I remember Disc Priests were always good at dealing with that sustained damage, but not so good at the burst.
Yeah, I mean, even with Atonement itself, like the DPS itself, it was all about it. And as far as healing goes, they were all like single target focused. But now with the Radiance, that would help out a lot for sure.
Yeah, I remember it in Legion. It was difficult on my disc to get Atonements out.
Yeah, that you were all mastery focused. You wanted to heal more than you wanted Atonement heal.
Oh no, I was trying to do the Atonement healing spec, and it just I was having trouble with it because I couldn't get the Atonement buff out on enough people quick enough.
Oh. Yeah, then I don't know who was the one that was playing disc as an actual healer though.
That would be Zegel.
Ah.
Moving on, we got Rogue, Outlaw, Combat Stamina bonus reduced by to 5% was 10. Developer note: Outlaw survivability and challenging content has been consistently higher than what we expected and intended. As a result, we are reducing combat stamina bonus value more appropriately to its position as single point cost. Okay, it is only 1 point. Killing Spree, newly added 10.05 damage reduction value, reduced from 65 to 35%. This is an adjustment to the 10.0.5 PTR value of this ability. So having 65% production for 2 seconds is too much.
Overkill.
I mean, it used to be immunity. And then it became not immunity, but we're gonna have to keep an eye on this one. I don't actually feel like Killing Spree needed this right in this expansion. Last expansion it definitely did. It does need some kind of, I think stun protection would be cool. Because I don't really die in my Killing Spree as much as I get stunned in it, and then it's just wasted.
Yeah, you need to be like CC immunity or something.
Yeah. Or even suppress the CC till it's over. I'd be down with that too. I'm not sure if just a flat damage reduction is the way to go with fixing that. They could also buff the other abilities so that Killing Spree isn't the go-to. Then again, we're talking about PvE, so it's talking about damage you're probably taking while you're jumping around the boss. Yeah, that makes sense. Moving on to the Shaman. We got Healing Surge, healing increased by 15%, because why not? Mana Spring now restores 400 mana at level 70 was 200, so that's a nice double. Totemic Surge reduces the cooldown of totems by 3 seconds / 6 seconds was 2/4. Elemental Flame Shock damage increased by 10%, elemental only. Chain Lightning damage increased by 10%, elemental only. Lava Beam increased by 10%. Earthquake increased by 10%. Resto Healing Wave. Oh, that Healing Surge buff was to all shamans. And the Mana Spring one. That's kind of cool. It's baseline. Nice. Resto Healing Wave. Healing increase by 6 seconds. Acid Rain damage increased by 120%. Flame Shock damage increased by 20. Resto only. Lava Burst damage increased by 20, resto only. Master of the Elements increases the effectiveness of the Shaman's next nature, physical, or frost spell by 20%, was 10. Developer note: these changes for both Elemental and Resto are aimed at improving their capability in dungeon content. We feel Resto is lacking in reactive healing as well as damage contribution. I thought they said they didn't want healers to have to do damage. So we're interested in increasing single target heal and a few damage ability and talents. We also increasing the effectiveness of Master of the Elements, which is intended to encourage weaving in damage with healing spells. I can get behind that. But I thought they said they weren't going to try to push healers to DPS no more. I thought there was a blue post about that. I'm pretty sure there was a blue post about it.
Maybe 2 years ago.
No, recently. Like, within the last 2 months, because people have been complaining about it hardcore on the forums. Moving on to the Warlock. Affliction, Soul Harvest damage increased by 25%. Okay. Demonology, Reign of Tyranny causes the Demon Tyrant to deal 7% additional damage for each stack of Demon Servitude active at the time of his summoning was 5%. Developer note: overall, we're happy with Demonology's AoE capabilities. However, we feel their single target profile needs a bit of help. We've increased the damage output of Reign of Tyrant to accomplish this. Ideally, Reign of Tyranny serves as a strong single target oriented choice compared to the Grand Warlock's design, which works well in content like Mythic Plus. Okay. See, this mentality here is what I wish they had in Battle for Azeroth, when they nerfed the bejesus out of my cleave on my rogue. And then made Demon Hunters one-button cleave champs. I'm glad. I gotta say, I'm glad to see this mentality is in here, that we want both a single target and the AoE spec to be compatible. It would be nice in a perfect world to have an AoE spec for every spec, or an AoE build and a single target build for every spec. But yeah, that's perfect world. Anyway, warrior time. This is substantial. I think these are the most changes for any class so far. Warrior, arms, thunderclap damage increased by 30%. Does arms even use thunderclap?
Not currently.
I thought that was a protection-focused ability.
It's a general ability.
Cleave?
Use that as fury.
I know it's a general ability, but historically I remember it being more prot used than other specs. But
they had it stripped before, but it was actually arms and prot before.
Oh, it was arms and prot. Okay.
But they had a one-time only prot. But yeah.
Yeah. Cleave damage increased by 5%. Whirlwind damage increased by 10%. Why are you increasing Bladestorm? Bladestorm is increased by 5%. Ren's initial damage, only, not periodic, increased by 15%. So, like, this is what you were talking about, like, why Bajera was all angry. They're just upping the damage and not giving you guys any more survivability. That doesn't solve the problem.
Yep. He's not ignore pain now, but I didn't see his reaction yet. Video until after that. So
yeah, this I don't think this solves the problem you guys are having.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, so whenever we get into the patch, we'll see what he says afterwards.
And I really don't think Bladestorm needs a damage increase. That thing already hits like semi-trucks. But whatever. Maybe the objective is to make you just hit so hard that it doesn't matter that you're gonna die in half of a hit.
Yeah. Bladestorm actually doesn't hit that hard as people think, but the problem is Bladestorm is actually just a funnel for the Mortal Strikes.
Yeah. It's the whole thing together, but I don't see that interaction between everything needing to do more damage. It's already a ridiculously high damage combo.
Yeah, because combining two abilities together. That's all.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's more so than most of what I got as a rogue.
I know.
And you have the CC immunity that Bladestorm provides you.
That's basically what we use it for. Is before, if we had that, it was for a CC breaker.
Now, if Killing Spree worked in PvP like Bladestorm does, that'd be dope. Developers note: the 10.0.5 talent tree update for arms makes for more flexible builds. However, their performance in AoE and raid, in dungeons and raid, have been where we would like relevant to other specs. Relative to other specs. So we're additionally making some tweaks to improve things. I don't know. That statement seems sus to me. That they want to make them their reasoning.
their performance in AoE situations and Dungeons and Raids haven't been where we would like relative to other specs. So we're additionally making some tweaks to their to improve things.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that.
Yeah, actually, it's just kind of true because Fury still outpaces me, for sure.
Well, yeah, but you're the arms warrior. You're like the arms. Like
Fury's still on DPS as in single target too.
Colossal or not? Yeah, not Colossal Smash. That other one.
Yeah.
Was it Colossal Smash?
Colossal Smash and then Mortal Strike.
Yeah, like that's what you do. Oh, I mean, I get it with all the focuses are on Cleave. I don't get about the Rend one. That's kind of weird.
Like, again, it's only 2 targets. And Rend, there was something with Rend. I don't know where it was, but it was focused on a build base with the Blazestorm, I think.
Okay.
Or Thunderclap, I mean, because Thunderclap applies Rend, so I don't know.
Oh, okay. Thunderclap applies Rend. I didn't know that. That makes sense.
You gotta get talent for it.
Yeah. Moving on to Fury. Raging Blows, damage increased by 10. Execute by 15. Rampage by 10. Annihilator by 15. Bloodthirst by 10. Bloodbath by 5. 0 improvements to your survivability.
But I think read this one.
Developer note: despite strong start in Season 1, Fury performance has fallen behind where we'd like it to be. 10.0.5 will see some minor changes to their talent tree, but these are more related to encouraging build diversity than providing more throughput. So we're making some additional changes to help their damage output. Okay.
Because that is also true, because our damage output is kind of lackluster without the beginning burst.
I just feel like their objective with the warrior here is to make you a candle that burns fast and quick.
Yeah, after our cooldowns, we're pretty much crap, and it's still in the PvE tree too. Not the we're not down to the
Yeah, no, we're not even to play PvP yet, but like, you still
but
die in dungeons and shit.
But these also count towards the overall damage. So.
Protection. Brace for Impact now increases block value by 3%, was 5% per stack. Brutal Vitality now causes 10% of the damage you deal to add to your Ignore Pain, was 15%. Shield Specialization now increases block value by 12% per rank, was 15. Developer note: Prot Warriors are currently dominating the tank populations. I didn't even know that. Well, we do want all tanks to feel powerful. Our data and overall perception of tanks, but protection warriors are ahead of the pack. We're making small talent adjustments that are over budgeting to help address this. I brought this up when we were talking about the talent trees. way back in October of last year is when I brought this up. They took all the defensives from everybody else and gave warriors so many more. I called this one. Like 100%. I was like, warriors gonna be meta.
Yeah, you know.
Here we go.
Here's someone else talked about the view before.
Alright, let's finish this up with the PvP changes. On to the PvP mode. In addition to the above notes, and the 10.05 patch during scheduled weekly maintenance on Tuesday, January 20th. That's a typo. January 20th. So, 3 days ago. We will be making a number of tuning adjustments to specializations based on their performance in PvP. In our intent that these changes help adjust outliers that have a better and more fun gameplay experience in PvP. I don't see nerf for Demon Hunter. Item: Gladiator Distinction Trinket Set Bonus. Primary stat provided decreased by 40%. Stamina increased by 35%. Developer note, we've seen overall PvP pacing, especially in Arena, and it has been a very fast as players acquire more gear / tier sets. This leaves less room for player reaction than we would like. In conjunction with the rest of balance changes, we are adjusting primary stats and stamina bonuses by the Gladiator's distinction to help address this. I totally agree. I like it when a PvP match lasts longer than shorter.
Yeah, we'll hope that set actually gets increased overall otherwise, because that's only going to be, I look at that too, I was looking at, it's only 700 stamina increase, and that's only going to be a 15.
I don't think it's enough. I don't think it's enough stamina.
Yeah, it's only 15,000 more life.
I think what the trinket should do is reduce damage done by players by like percent. But like stating that on a trinket would feel bad.
No. They're not going to reduce any damage. They're not going to do that.
Yeah, I know, because then we're just moving back to fucking PvP power.
Yeah, back for resilience.
Yeah, we don't want, yeah, resilience, PvP power, whatever you want to call it. We don't want to do that again, because that was bad. But like, I want arena matches should last longer, and I feel like burst is a giant problem in arena matches. So maybe they should just nerf burst in arenas.
Really? They just remove the entire primary stat in general and bring that all into stamina.
That too. Like big ass stamina. Because I remember back in old classic PvP, like not classic plus, but like old classic, like we just stack stamina all day long for PvP, so you'd live long enough to kill other people.
That was kind of the idea.
Alright, moving on. Let's see how this is going with the Death Knight. Death Strike healing is no longer reduced in PvP combat, was reduced by 25%. Okay, that's kind of scary.
Yep.
Improved Death Strike's effectiveness is still reduced by 50% in PvP. Well, that's not too bad. Enfeebled enemies' damage reduction against Death Knights is now reduced by 33% in PvP combat. Rune of Spell Warding Absorb Shield is now 33% effective in PvP combat. Rune of Spell Warding's cast speed reduction is now 33% effective in PvP combat. Unholy. Hoping to see some nerfs here. Necrotic Wounds and from Necrotic Wounds now absorb 4% of healing done. Was 5% of heals the Death Knight for up to 4% of their max health when the effect ends. Was 5. Okay. Virulent Plague no longer deals increased damage in PvP combat. Was increased by 30%. Developer note. Death Knight survivability continues to be higher than we're comfortable with, so we gave them more. Especially casters. Especially against casters. So we're targeting passive parts of their defensive kit while adjusting Death Knight's strike healing up as a more proactive survivability tool. Additionally, Unholy Death Knights are dealing too much overall damage. So we're adjusting Virulent Plague. Okay, I see where they're going. They're gonna...
all your damage is based on dots and mastery.
Yeah. So, but I see where they're going with the Death Knights as a whole. They want them to have to do more active things to stay alive instead of the passive stuff keeping them alive. I can get behind that. Druid. Rake damage now reduced by 18% in PvP combat. Rip damage now reduced by 18% in PvP combat. Ferocious Bite damage reduced by 25% in PvP combat. Was 20%. Balance. Orbit Breaker now resets its count when entering an arena match. I don't even know what that is, but I'm assuming it's good, and probably should have happened before. That sounds like a bug fix. Full Moon damage reduced to 60% power was 80% power when triggered by Orbit Breaker in PvP. Wrath deals 50% increased damage in PvP. Starfire deals 50% increased damage in PvP. Was 20. Star Surge deals 40% increased damage in PvP was 20. New Moon, Half Moon, Full Moon now deal 20% increased damage in PvP. Gathering Star Stuff. Balanced Druid 2-piece set bonus grants 15% increased damage to Wrath or Starfire per stack was 20. Touch of the Cosmos Ballads Druid 4-piece set bonus grants 20% increased damage to Star Surge was 35. Umbral Embrace increases Wrath or Sunfire damage by 48% was 50% in PvP. Feral. Frenzy damage reduced by 10% in PvP. Frenzied regeneration healing reduced by 15% was 38% in PvP combat. Feral and restoration only. I told you when we read the Feral regeneration tree or talent and its placement in the tree way back in October that was going to be a thing. Restoration, frenzied regeneration healing reduced by 50% was 38% in PvP combat. Feral and resto only. Yeah. Budding Leaves is now 50% effective in PvP. Combat was 70%. Might actually be able to kill me some Feral Druids soon. There are some resto Druids. Developer note. Feral damage has been much higher than we were comfortable with. So we're lowering it. So, right to the point right there. Additionally, both Feral and... Huh? What was it, Devil?
I was saying additionally.
Yeah, additionally, both Feral and Resto have been too survivable when targeted. So we're lowering the healing from Frenzied Regeneration for those specializations. Balanced Druid... Hi, Geralt. Balanced Druid's single target pressure is behind other casters, so we would like to reward them for casting time spells like Wrath and Starfire a bit more. Well, at the same time fixing issues that caused Orbit Breaker to do more damage than intended. It looks like the only thing that was causing Orbit Breaker to do more damage than intended was not clearing its buff before entering Arena. As far as doing Wrath and Starfire, yeah, I think Balanced Druids need to actually cast some spells so that the other classes have some chances to, like, interrupt them. Because, like, that's my biggest issue when fighting Balanced Druids is there's nothing to interrupt. Like, they don't cast at me unless, like, they're far as shit away and I can't get to them anyway. So there's no way for me to really lock them out of anything, and their movement is just so ridiculously high, and their CC options are impressive. Yeah, balance right now, based on all the classes and their CC options in PvP and whatnot, balance has the most and should be easiest to kite with, even more so than the Frost Mage, which is ridiculous because Frost Mages should be kings of kiting. They're Frost Mages. Moving on, we have the Invoker, Devastation. Deep Breath deals 20% increased damage in PvP. Was 40. Spellweaver's Dominance grants 20% increased critical strike damage in PvP. Was 30. Disintegrate deals 20% increased damage in PvP, was 15. Azure Strike deals 20% increased damage in PvP. Developer note, Devastation Invoker's burst potential is higher than we'd like, so we're reducing it a bit. Oh, the Deep Breath. Giving players more time to react to damage. And then they're increasing their smaller hits so that they have more reason to use them. Preservation. Dream Projection's heal over time effect can now be dispelled. Dream Protection now costs 4% of base mana. Developer note: Dream Protection has been more impactful and efficient in Preservation's healing breakdown than we would like. Moving on. I'm not sure that's enough to the Preservation nerfs. Based on this and what was in the other patch notes. We'll have to see with some playtesting. Hunter, Roar of Sacrifice PvP talent now deals 10% of damage target suffers to the pet was 20. Developer note: we have been concerned with the Hunter's pet survivability, particularly during Roar of Sacrifice when Nick usually kills his. We're adjusting the damage transfer to help Roar of Sacrifice. Now, hopefully, Shinzo will have a pet at the end of combat. I don't know how many times I heard him. Dude, they killed my pet. No, dude, you killed your pet. Mage, Arcane. Arcane Bombardment is now 40% effective in PvP combat, was 65. Developer note: Arcane Bombardment has remained a more effective execute than we would like after our previous reduction to its effect. We're lowering it again with the goal of increasing the opportunity for opponents to counterplay. I'm digging these philosophies. Like the notes and the philosophies they're giving, they're cool. I'm not sure their changes associated with them are living up to the notes, but like I like the intent. Monk. Speaking of which, Arcane Bombardment, do you feel like it needs a nerf?
I think it's pretty good, but yeah, I mean, it could have used another one once the next tiers come out. It will need another nerf probably. Yeah,
as the gear goes up.
Yeah, I mean, right now I could still hit maybe like 250k if I tried, if I got a perfect rotation in.
Alrighty, Monk time. Mistweaver. JJ. Mana regeneration now decreased by 10% in PvP combat was 15. I didn't notice that mana was a problem. Enveloping...
Yeah, I don't think mana was a problem, so that's why they're... well, I don't think we ever had mana issues, but I think if you trained them on Mistweaver, it probably was a problem.
Yeah, I could get him pretty low on mana if I focused him, so I guess.
But I think on Fistweavers, they never have an issue, I don't think.
Yeah, no, Fistweavers probably don't. Enveloping Mist, healing increased by 25% while in PvP combat, that'll be helpful. Chrysalis, PvP talent, revert to previous changes, now reduces cooldown of Life Cocoon by 45 seconds. Dev's note: in previous recent changes, we adjusted the Mistweaver mana regen. As a result, the result was more than we would like, so we're adjusting it back a bit. Enveloping Mist healing was reduced for PvE properties. Start of Dragonflight, we're increasing its healing too much. So we're increasing its healing to match its previous levels in PvP. Okay. I really like how they have clearly decided to balance PvP separately from PvE now. It's going to make the game way easier to balance.
That's kind of the idea now.
I think it's a good philosophy.
That's kind of why they reverted and removed every change they had for PvP and PvE and Shadowlands, so they can start from scratch.
Yeah. Paladin. Patch notes are extensive. Paladin. Divine Protection now reduces damage by 30%, while in PvP combat was 20. Okay, cool, because, like, I was still getting trucked on.
Yeah, here comes Nick's happiness slightly.
Flash of Light, healing increased by 15% in PvP. Aura of Reckoning, max aura stacks raised to 100 was 50. The Reckoning effect now activates at 100 stacks. Concentration Concentration damage increased by 50% in PvP combat. Holy. Reckoning. PvP talent increases the damage of your next judgment by 25%. Was 100. The tooltip for Aura of Reckoning will be replaced to reflect this in a future patch.
Updated.
Okay. Holy Light now heals for... Huh?
It will be updated to reflect this in the
Yeah.
patch.
Yeah.
You said replaced.
Oh, did I? Holy Light now it heals for 75% more in PvP combat. It was 40. It's a 35% increase. Holy Shock Healing increased by 15% in PvP combat. Shocky. Fixed issue that caused the judgment from Reckoning to not always critically strike. That's probably going to be helpful. Retribution. Final Reckoning damage reduced by 20% in PvP combat. Radiant Decree damage reduced by 33% in PvP combat. Paladin Retribution class set 2-piece now increases damage of Judgment, Blade of Justice, and Wake of Ash by 10% in PvP combat. Was 15. Crusader Strike now deals 80% increased damage in PvP. Was 30. Why? The buff to Crusader Strike. It's a massive buff too. Healing Hands now 70% and effective in PvP combat. Was 50. 20% buff. Templar's Verdict damage increased by 10% in PvP combat. Final Verdict damage increased by 10% in PvP combat. Exorcism damage increased by 80% in PvP combat. Lawbringer PvP talent now deals up to 88% of enemies' maximum health. Was 10. Big old developer note. Aura of Reckoning has been much more powerful than intended, so we're making targeted adjustment to slow down its availability for all paladins and its healing damage contribution for holy paladins. We are increasing some of Holy's other healing spells with the goal of a more balanced healing breakdown for this class. Additionally, paladins have been squishier than we would like, so we have increased Divine Protection's defensive capability to help in this area. Ret paladins have had a high burst potential without counterplay, so we're adjusting their burst compatibility downward while bringing up some of their sustained damage. To have healthier playstyle, Lawbringer has been represented at a higher than expected damage contribution due to judgment-based procs within the talent tree, so we are reducing its value slightly. Yeah, so like I was saying, back up at the top, we need to get rid of burst and improve sustain so that PvP lasts longer.
Yep.
And that seems to be the thought process behind what they're doing, because getting like I was watching a reel the other day, and literally this full Glad rogue or a full Conquest Gear rogue died in two seconds. It was ridiculous. Like and I feel the same way. Like I can go from like full health to like none in like before I can react, or like during the duration of a single stun, and I've got a whole bunch of stun reductions, so like it doesn't feel good to die that way. Where it's much more fun when like I'm 1v1ing a rogue and we die at the same time, or I die to his dots after he goes down, or he dies to mine.
Alright, we're almost done.
Yep, got the shaman and the warrior left. The warrior had like no notes at all. Shaman got some decent ones though. Shaman, Earth Unleash from Unleash Shield now breaks on damage. Last 2 seconds was 4. Okay. Healing. Stream Totem healing is increased by 30% in PvP combat. Was 38. 8% nerf to that Stream Totem. Restoration Water Shield now returns 1% of mana when struck by melee attack in PvP. Was 2%. Stormkeeper's damage increased by 67% effectiveness in PvP combat. Restoration only. Riptide healing is increased by 10% in PvP combat. What's 15? Elemental damage, or let's start over. Elemental Shaman's Dragonflight Season 1 tier piece, or 2-piece tier set bonus at 50%, or has a 50% reduced effectiveness in PvP combat. What is it though? Primordial Surge Lava Burst damage increase is now 60% effective in PvP combat. Developers note, in conjunction with the above game-wide adjustments to their healing spells, we are making further adjustments for healthier gameplay in PvP. Root mechanics typically break on damage, and Unleashed Shield was an exception to this. So, the root will now break when enough damage occurs. We are not applying diminishing returns to it, but decreasing the duration as well. Additionally, if we feel the Resto Shaman's mana regeneration from water, we felt that the Restoration's mana regeneration from Water Shield and burst capability using Stormkeeper was too high. So we're adjusting those down. Finally, Elemental Shaman's bursts have been higher than we would like, with minimal time for the opponent to react. Kaboom! Especially as players have been obtaining their tier set bonuses. Warrior. Let's see if you get any defensives up in here. Thunderous Roar. Talent. Bleed damage no longer deals reduced damage in PvP combat. Was 50% reduced. Uproar. Talent. No longer has reduced cooldown effect in PvP. 50% reduction. Was. Fury. Slaughterhouse PvP talent now lasts 16 seconds. Was 12. What does Slaughterhouse do?
That's their healing reduction, like Mortal Strike's healing reduction.
Okay. Storm of Steel. Talent no longer has reduced damage reduction. Has a reduced damage reduction in PvP. Was 50%. Developer note. Fury Warriors have fallen behind other melee specializations. Yes. So we're increasing the duration of Slaughterhouse to allow them to access the maximum effectiveness of their healing reduction more often.
Yeah, because you can't refresh those stacks, so we need more duration on it. Because once you reach 12, you only have like 3 seconds on it.
Okay. So since the stack doesn't refresh the duration, they just increase the duration, so you have more time to get to the top stack.
You have to apply 12 stacks of Slaughterhouse, and every rampage, you get to apply 4 stacks.
Okay, I see how it works. Yeah, 16 seconds gives you like...
So it's like every
8 seconds?
3 to 4 seconds, you apply 1 rampage. So...
yeah, like, so like... So like what you're saying is like this will up you from like 4 seconds to like 8 seconds worth of
maybe a maximum of 10 seconds of 12 stacks if you get maximum rage somehow. But yeah.
Okay. That's cool. Now is that Slaughterhouse higher than my my wounding poison?
No, it should be about the same. I think it's 39 or 42%.
Okay.
With your wound poison with the talent, it should be 42% as well.
Alright, and then we're gonna roll down here and let's see, it says rest in peace Mistweavers. Yeah. There's a mage buff. Let's see if it's enough. Hunter buff, especially self-healing and survivability. Why Blizzard keeps ignoring the most squishy specs. We're paper compared to other classes. I disagree, Mr. Hunter. I do. You are squishier compared to other classes, but you have that range stuff, and those traps, and the pets. Disagree with you on that.
I was like, which one are you trying to look at?
I'm on the official page, and I'm just scrolling through.
Oh, I thought you were reading comments. I was like, what?
Yeah, no, I'm reading the comments on the patch notes.
Oh, you're not
Dude.
reading comments, but you're reading
Demon Hunter quotes, Tuesday, January 20th. Proof Blizzard operates on a different timetable than the rest of us.
Alright.
These warriors seem happy with their buffs.
Where's this page? Bring this back over here. Alrighty. Now it's time.
Dude quoted the whole thing.
What happened?
Dude quoted like basically the whole thing, and then complains about the warlock not receiving a change. All right, well I guess that's it. Like, subscribe, do all that shit. I'd really like to feed my cat. Y'all have a great day. Hopefully tomorrow the servers don't burn down. How about you, Devil? You got anything to say before we go?
No, but I mean, I said no, but yeah, I will be happy with the warrior, and at least be glad that we have a fire mage and a there was one more class, but yeah, and the basically ever change, but yeah, and the holy pally change. The holy pally change is actually pretty good to balance out.
Alrighty. I'm just gonna keep scrolling
There we
through
go.
this stuff. Yeah, I'm hoping to see some more defensive buffs come towards the warriors, and I actually
Yeah,
don't
as far
think warriors and then like hunters could use another one.
Yeah, as far as arms goes, they definitely need. I don't know if ignore pain will be enough if they still have it in there, but if they do need another one, they will need a healing one with that. But
You guys need like enraged regeneration of some kind, like a lesser one, maybe like a 25% heal on a 40-second cooldown or something.
Yeah, no, Fury should be fine if they can control how their healing works, but for arms, they actually need more like a damage reduction type deal that works in their favor. But yeah.
Yeah. Fury needs actual healing because of the increased damage they take through enrage. But arms should have solid defensive options.
Yeah.
I mean, you're an arms warrior. Like, don't they have that parry thing? Or they get rid of that?
Yeah, arms has die by the sword. They have that too. You can improve it to heal you for, I think it's 10% of your life for every parry you do. But that's on a cooldown. That's on like a 1 second cooldown per parry. So you can't just. It's not every parry. Every parry within the 1 second range.
Yeah.
But yeah. So we'll see coming up, hopefully.
I'd actually really like to see it if like warriors got like a bunch of temporary hit points, like arms.
Yeah. Well,
because you got like those shouts and stuff, but they're not.
Yeah, we have rally cry we can grab back, but we got.
Do you have a personal? Do you have a personal health increase shout?
Yeah, we have rally cry. Not personal, no.
Not a personal? Yeah, you guys need a personal one, or like
Yeah, we don't.
a way to make rally cry like a PvP talent that makes it only affect you but reduces the cooldown.
Yeah, the PvP. Yeah, they can change that PvP talent point we have instead of making it increase health by 15%, make it 1 minute cooldown. Make it reduced by 1 minute for everyone, they should just bring that to a versatile, bring that to maybe like a 50% health increase or something.
Yeah.
Or add some health to it or something. But yeah.
Alrighty. Well, I guess that's the end of this video.
Yep.
Later. We'll catch you
Later.
guys with some PvP next week. Oh, maybe we'll do some more today. I don't know.